United Nations considers migration as one of the most important phenomena which has been underestimated historically and more recently as well. And in times of climate change, this becomes even more of issue. There are projections that in the next 20 to 30 years, a large number of people will need to be displaced because of the effect which climate change has. Accordingly, again, many studies were done on how that could have effect and how that could organize efforts by international organizations, but so far we haven't seen a coordinated plan, international plan that will address the issue. That's why I think discussions among migration and climate change and human security are very crucial, and United Nations University will encourage more of such discussion. We already have done several workshops. One is the climate change victims, one is on natural disaster and human security, and the topic very much fits into the priorities of the United Nations University. The concept of refugees is very well legally defined in the 1951 Convention, and that's why legal scholars usually are a little bit reluctant to incorporate the same concept when it comes to environmental migrants. They see it as covering only political persecution, torture, or armed conflict, and people who move out of certain dangerous areas are protected by the 1951 Convention. My position would be that we can create a different mechanisms not to utilize the same convention or the same term refugees when we talk about migration. And indeed, the climate migrants are different. They have much more to do with, for example, economic migration, of a normal human desire to live in areas which gives extra labor and economic opportunities. So, in other words, I will see climate migration as a different phenomena, but certainly it needs to be, if not legally, at least politically and operationally identified, and accordingly research needs to be done how this category can be defined and addressed in international instruments. Excellent question. So far, we've seen a lot of discourses addressing migration in the alarmist literature, basically alarming that we will have millions of people on the move, and there will be the problem. Those people who move are the problem. I guess we need to change the discourse. We need to think about the people, and that's where comes human security, as the victims, as those who suffer from deterioration of the environmental conditions, and they need to be relocated or they need to resettle by themselves, by their voluntary choice, in order to find a better environmental condition. And I think this is crucial, that the alarmist discourse was very much addressed in the opportunity to mitigate consequences of climate change. And mitigation and adaptation needs to be always considered as one. Otherwise, we have disbalances if we talk only in terms of mitigation or only in terms of adaptation. I see migration as a possible solution, as a possible adaptive policy, where people will look at migration not as something as negative as historically has been looked at, rather than in a positive way. Migration is the solution when the conditions deteriorate in one place. People will move voluntarily to the better condition, and that synergy between people normal human desire to live in a better condition can be also in parallel developed with all international and governmental strategies to address adaptation of climate change.